Some DSDs will also affect your general health. Janet has a DSD called congenital adrenal hyperplasia, or CAH. It means her adrenal glands don't work properly.
It's very threatening to a body, particularly if there are infections or some sort of other trauma that happens. You count on your body to react with extra cortisol, and people with adrenal hyperplasia, that's not the way the bodies work. Rather than fighting infections, it ends up collapsing from it. I don't really think that as a child you think about death, but I didn't know how close maybe I was sometimes.
While Janet's body can't make enough cortisol, it makes too much testosterone. And that led to ambiguous genitals.
They just couldn't determine the gender of my parents' baby in the ways that it's normally. It's just such an easy declaration, boy or girl, but it's sometimes not that simple.
Male and female genitals actually grow from the same tissue. It's just testosterone that makes them look different.
The initial structure the baby has can grow a little bit and become a clitoris, or it can be stimulated by testosterone and grow a lot and become a penis. The same for what will become the scrotum in a girl. The folds of skin will stay as the labia majora, so the lips of the vagina, but in a boy those tissues will grow and fuse and become the scrotum. What it does to a female fetus with CAH is that those high levels of testosterone hormones will mean that she'll start to develop some of the external changes of a male.
Because of her CAH, Janet was born with an enlarged clitoris, giving her an appearance somewhere between male and female.
I know that there was concern about what kind of life I would have because of the way that my body was. When my grandfather heard that I was a girl that didn't look very much like a girl, and that I was sick, that he suggested to my father that maybe it would be better if I didn't live. That if I couldn't grow up and marry and possibly have children, then really what kind of life could I have?
She was born with a womb, ovaries and female genes, even though her genitals and hormones were partly masculinized. The next question her parents faced was whether to allow surgery to make her genitals look more female. At the time, surgery was standard practice, accepted almost without question.
My parents really didn't get what was being done. But they agreed because there was a doctor that said, this is the best thing we can do for your child. Really, my first memory is of being in a hospital. Very clear memory.
What is that memory?
I was about 2, and I can remember exactly where the bed was in the room. I can remember that it was kind of a crib because it had the bars on it. I remember where the door was to the bed and how the door had that the glass that's kind of milky. And when you used to have exams or the nurses came in, your parents were made to leave the room. And I could see that my parents were very upset. I just knew that it was about being brave. So I started saying, if you hear someone cry, it's not me. And I said that to them every time they had to leave the room. Nobody was looking in my eyes. There was not one resident, not one anyone who said to me, you know, are you okay? Or actually looked at me other than to lift up the sheets. And I remember thinking, well, if I can do what they're doing, if I can remove my mind from where my body is, this will be over. I got good at it. And it actually took me months to go to my mom to try and get clarification. Why am I different than other little girls? And I remember where she was in the room and in the house, and I can remember saying to her, why am I different than other girls? And it was very sad for her. You know, I just remember her getting really emotional about it, and I think I was looking for confirmation from her that everything was okay and that I wasn't all that different. And I remember, you know, kind of this hoping for, I love you just the way you are and everybody is different and it'll be okay. And what I ended up with was with another surgery pretty quickly.
It was the third time Janet had had surgery.
My parents, and the parents for decades, they really didn't understand. They were told things like, well, you know, your child wasn't completely formed in the womb, and we'll take care of that. Or, this is just a little nothing, it'll all be okay. And what parent wants to be thinking about their children's genitals, you know? They don't. So, you know, in medicine, our doctors used to say, this is what you need to do, and we used to say yes.
And living life with a DSD can become even more challenging when you're starting a relationship.
I think it's difficult when you have a body that you know is different, that in that moment of early discovery with someone, that instead of having that kind of heady wonderfulness of anticipation, what you feel is fear. And you also feel anticipation, but you have fear, and you just wonder when you get to that moment of nakedness, is there going to be reaction? Is there going to be fear? Will somebody go running from the room? And what I've learned is that people don't fall in love with genitals. They fall in love with your soul. And that is what people are attracted to. And that's a really important thing for everyone to know.
Some disorders of sexual development can be, like Janet's congenital adrenal hyperplasia. So she made careful checks before she tried to get pregnant.
Come here, Marley.
Hi, baby.
It was wonderful for me to have my children. It meant I wasn't just in solitude, just thinking and trying to figure it out. There was every day we needed to get up and have breakfast and get to school and just do the things in a daily life that are diversions.
Just try to land on your face. All right, we're done.
The most important thing I could do about feeling good about myself was being able to be a really good mom, and it just helped me get through the process and the understanding, and I just always felt blessed to have the kids. You are fabulous, and I do love you so much. You really did save my life.
It's funny, as much as she's been watching me grow, I've been watching her grow out of this woman that felt like she needed to be perceived as this amazing mom to actually just being an amazing mom and not caring who thought so or who knew, and because she is an amazing mom and she's this amazing woman.
I think I just got to a point in my life where I realized that there wasn't anything I had done that was my fault, or there wasn't anything that that I could claim as, you know, having to be shameful of. I think got to a point in my life where I was okay with me, and so that whatever I found out about what had happened wasn't going to kind of blow up my life.
She's a marvelous daughter. She's a wonderful person. She's a great mother. She learned how to cook from me, so she's a great cook.
Yep.
And she has a wonderful life. And she's done great things with her life, and will continue to.
The green household becomes
I have to tell you, for most of my life, I was a fucking mess. I really was. I mean, I lived my life, and I lived a great life, but psychologically, I just was stuck, and I would struggle, and I was scared, but I really have had a magnificent 14, 13 years or so. Really, since I got my medical records, since I realized I wasn't the only person like this, it's become a fabulous life. Because I'm not a person with a DSD, except when I'm doing this work. I'm a realtor, I'm a mom, I'm just like I'm a normal person.